Do you want to make clean and clickable thumbnails like these? Well, my name is Frostify, and today I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks on how to do so. Coming in at tip number 1 for improving your thumbnails, it is going to be to not be scared to go big. If you look at these two thumbnail examples that I quickly whipped up, I know the fonts are actually kind of, not necessarily the best choices. This was definitely something that I did in like 2 seconds, but I wanted to show you guys the difference between a small headshot and a large headshot, hence going big or going small. So when you are actually making a thumbnail, you need to consider that it's going to be showcased across so many different platforms and so many different mobile devices and other devices as well. At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure more users watch YouTube on mobile than they do desktop, so this is very, very important to keep in mind. Having your subject bigger in your thumbnails will not only take up more space and fill up negative space so you can actually have a very, organized thumbnail. Not only will sizing up your headshot fill up more negative space in the thumbnail, giving you a more organized look, but it will be easier to see on things like phones, computers, TVs, which is something you definitely want to keep in mind when you're making a thumbnail, because a lot of people watch YouTube universally across all different types of devices. At the end of the day, the one on the right is going to perform better than the one on the left because the one on the right has more space filled, it has more contrast, and it also is just more clickable as a whole due to its sizing and the fillage of negative space. So definitely keep that in mind when you're making your thumbnails. Make sure to not be scared to go larger, because at the end of the day, it's going to be shown across all sorts of different devices and it needs to be visible regardless of the size. Coming in at tip number 2, it is that curiosity is better than quality. And when I say quality, I don't mean like HD assets or, 4K thumbnail looks. I am mainly referring to design principles in thumbnails. Now, there are some design principles that do in fact go into thumbnails. However, pushing curiosity onto your viewer is 9 times out of 10 going to be the better way than making a super detailed, nice looking thumbnail. Let's go ahead and look at an example of 2 Mr. Beast thumbnails. In his most recent one, he gave away a private island to his 100 millionth subscriber. Now, if you go ahead and look at this, thumbnail, Mr. Beast is in a helicopter, which never does happen in the video, and you get a glimpse of the island. You see Mr. Beast Burger, a statue of Jimmy, and also roller coasters, and also just like tons and tons of fun activities on the island. This is actually not what the island looks like in the video. The whole purpose of the statue and the Mr. Beast stuff and the roller coasters and, the cruise ship in the background is all to push curiosity onto the viewer that's looking at the thumbnail. Now, some may look at this thumbnail up close and realize that it's actually not that, high quality in terms of details and other things like that. But this is overall the whole point. There's a statue of Jimmy in gold. You've got a lot of yellows and greens in the thumbnail, so color complements really well. But it gives the viewer a sense of curiosity and makes them want to click on the video. Now, if you go ahead and look at the one on the left on the screen, you can see that there's actually no text or like insane detail in this thumbnail. All it really is Jimmy getting crushed by spikes. Kind of makes you want to click on the video to see if he got squished,
doesn't it?
This thumbnail is phenomenally executed. The quality is not exactly at its highest, but yet it really does invoke curiosity, and that is the whole point. With Jimmy being crushed between 2 spikes, it makes you want to click and see, what happens next. Coming in at tip number 3, it is going to be color contrast and importance. Now, there's a website called color.adobe.com, and this website gives you free access to a color wheel, and you could look at tons of different colors, including complementary colors, which is what I'm going to dive into right now. So all you want to do is click the complementary option on the left-hand side of the screen, and as you can see, you can totally mess around with the color wheel. You can move your colors from right to left. I recommend doing them like fully all the way to the side so you can see full complementary colors, but this is going to give you the best color variations for your thumbnails. If you guys have ever seen examples of my thumbnails on the channel, I don't exactly have the best thumbnails on YouTube, and I am by no means saying that, but I do use complementary color in a lot of them to practice the overall clickability of it. Some examples that I can give are, these graphic design fills will make you lose your mind. A lot of people would argue that this is kind of like a KSI style thumbnail, but one of the things I made sure to include was the complementary colors in the background, the green and the orange. So if you are using one solid color, make sure to really mess around with kind of like a gradient look, I'd say. Coming in at tip number 4, it is going to be to condense information. And you're probably wondering, what exactly does this mean? Take a look at 2 of these videos from, Courage and Mr. Who's the Boss. In the Courage video, it's titled Tim the Tap Man Sucks at Fall Guys, and then you have a thumbnail that says Rage, and it's pointing to, Tim the Tap Man photoshopped on a Fall Guy. If you dissect this video to a certain extent, you have to understand that your thumbnail isn't the only thing working to get your video to hit algorithm on YouTube. It's also your title. Your title and your thumbnail work together like brothers or friends or overall teammates. The Courage thumbnail doesn't actually have a crazy amount of storytelling. It overall previews and bounces off the title. And as you can see, there's not a lot of information on this thumbnail. There's simple text that says Rage, there's an arrow pointing towards Send the Tapman, but overall the title says all of the storytelling itself. So when you look at the video, you want to click on it because of the complementary colors, yellow and pink, but you also kind of know a little bit about the video going into it because of the title. Utilizing and bouncing things off of the title gives you the freedom to not put a lot of information in your thumbnail, which is recommended. I recommend filling up negative space, but not to the point where it's cluttered and really messy. Now go ahead and take a look at Mr. Who's the Boss's thumbnail. In his thumbnail, he tours the Mr. Beast Mega Studio, and all the thumbnail has is his headshot, Mr. Beast's headshot, and the compound in the background with dollar signs. If you took the title away from this video, you would not even know what the video was about. You may be able to imply it, but you would not be able to tie the video purpose and the thumbnail together identically yet. Because it works hand in hand with the title, it gives you a sense of what the video is going to be about and also gives you a little teaser in the actual thumbnail. Coming in at tip number 5, it is going to be catching the eye. Now this basically ties up everything we've already talked about into one tip. A thumbnail's job is to catch the eye of the viewer. So in order to do that, there's 3 things that you're really going to have to focus on. One is color theory. What colors are you using in your thumbnail? And overall, how are they complementing each other in the actual thumbnail itself? Number 2, your thumbnail hierarchy. What is the viewer supposed to look at first when they see the thumbnail? Are they looking at you? Are they looking at someone in the background? Are they looking at the sky? You have to decide. And tip number 3, curiosity is better than quality. Make sure that you kind of storytell with your thumbnail. Be curious with it. Be fun with it. If you guys are serious about graphic designing, go ahead and join my Discord community. The link will be down below in the description. And now for 2 bonus tips, I'm going to show you guys features in Photoshop and also like different outside tools that I use to really improve my thumbnail process and also kind of give me an idea of how it looks on the channel. So coming in at the first bonus tip, it is going to be the navigator tool in Photoshop. I mentioned this in a previous video that I did. It was like, 25 Photoshop tips and tricks. Definitely go watch that video if you haven't already. It's super dope. All you're going to want to do to get it is go up to Window and click Navigator. And once you go ahead and click Navigator, put it up in the upper right hand part of your Photoshop. It should just snap into place. This is absolutely fantastic for viewing thumbnail sized graphics in a little viewport so you can kind of see where it'll function in mobile devices and other platforms. And coming in at the final tip and also our second bonus tip, it is to use Figma and other mockups. There's also a thumbnail uploader that I want to show you guys as well. So if you guys don't know, Figma has a community section, which is really useful for overall finding mockups and other things like that. I was able to find a whole YouTube channel mockup. So normally what I do before I upload a video is I go through and I change all the titles and I upload the thumbnail and place it in an actual, kind of mockup sense. So I can see how all the thumbnails look in unison with each other and also how eye-catching it is from an outsider's perspective. This is for sure useful, and I definitely recommend you guys go check out Figma. It's absolutely free. I believe you get like 3 free projects. Figma is not only used for mockups either. It can be used for UI design, normal graphic design. It is kind of a universal tool, and it's honestly better than Photoshop, I'm gonna be honest. If Figma is not an option for you guys, there's an awesome website called thumbnailpreview.com, and it's really simple. All you want to do is upload your thumbnail and even give it a title. So let's go ahead and title it what this video is going to be called. And then once you go ahead and click preview, it is going to load up and show you a mocked up version of what it will look like on YouTube. I don't really use this tool a lot since I could go ahead and use it in Figma, but this is always an option if you want to use it. But without further ado, guys, this has been Frostify. If you have any questions, don't be scared to reach out to me on Twitter. I am always down to answer. This has been Frostify, and I will see you next Friday with a brand new video. Peace out.